Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Total Recall, which is the 2012 film directed by Len Wiseman and starring Colin Farrell, Kate Beckinsale, Jessica Biel, Bryan Cranston, and John Cho. The plot of this is basically like the original Total Recall, except if that movie sucked a lot more. It's an unnecessary Hollywood remake, basically there for brand recognition. The original Total Recall, it's kind of jokey, it's fun. Like, I think I said, like, it's like a hypersensitive cartoon in a lot of ways. The gore and the blood looks like it's fake because it's a dream. This movie, first, is PG-13, so it's not, there's not any blood really. There's kind of blood, but it doesn't look like cartoony red blood. It's like kind of dark and they hurt their heads a couple times. There's a lot of chase sequences. It's kind of like the inoffensive, boring diet version of Total Recall. Colin Farrell, I like in films like The Way Back, and I like in Bruges, but he's just not made to be a Hollywood leading man in the traditional sense of the word. And I don't know why they keep trying. He's not a box office figure. I remember in 2003, it was like every month they had a new Colin Farrell movie coming out and they all look shitty. A big part of the original Total Recall is having fun with Arnold Schwarzenegger's persona and like his roles in various other films. Colin Farrell just doesn't have a persona. Colin Farrell, I don't think, is a bad actor. He just chooses roles that he is just not very capable for the most part. He's great as a supporting actor. He's also good in kind of quirkier European indie movies. And I understand this is a different adaptation. It's a different version. It doesn't really understand what it's saying with it. It's trying to kind of feed in the Occupy movement in there. It's leaving out Mars, which is like, that's one of the most memorable parts. Why would you leave out Mars and we have this shitty like Earth thing, which isn't from the original story. This has very little to do with the original Philip K. Dick story, which centered a lot on Mars. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with Mars. They refer to Mars. They never go to Mars. And a lot of the references to the other film I found kind of insulting and stupid. Kate Beckinsale's role, which in the original is just Sharon Stone as the small role, and, you know, Richter is kind of the big villain who goes after him for most of the film. And in this film, that's just Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale, I guess because her husband is the director, and those underworld films, and some reason she is the major antagonist. So it's like simplifying. You don't have as many characters. You don't, you know, which I like Richter. I like all those guys. And it kind of shows me like a director like Verhoeven is something that is sorely missed in Hollywood, but not by anyone who's running it. I think, as an audience member, I felt really insulted. Like, how could you throw me this PG-13 sanitized version of Total Recall? To me, part of the fun of Total Recall and RoboCop is the violence and the cartoonish violence, and how, to me, I never thought RoboCop and Total Recall were like real movies. They're fantasies, and this film doesn't play off the fantasy. It has the same problem almost that Inception has, which I think this film really, this is obviously a post-Inception movie. They have this whole thing where they lose gravity because there's this train that goes from England to Australia and ships the workers into England from Australia. I don't know. But at a certain point, it's zero gravity, just like Inception. This was a huge mistake on the part of the studio. If this is the kind of director you're going to put on your big tentpole movie, you're going to get a bad movie. You know, science fiction and comic books and stuff, all that stuff, there are people who love it and breathe it and understand the structure and understand you have to have other things in it rather than just like cool looking robots and zero gravity. Len Wiseman isn't a smart guy. And Len Wiseman just made a sci-fi action movie. That's all he did. There's no satire. There's no cool like Mars Today sign. There's no mutants, because I guess that would make you feel weird, and who wants that? Because you're having a good time at the movies. Let's just look at pretty people. Because everyone in this film, even the girl with 3 boobs, is like supermodel pretty. It's just trying to be kind of a very passive action movie. And under the guise of like, you know, this is like a trippy, smarter movie, this is one of the worst movies, I think, of the summer, more because I just kind of feel insulted, and I feel kind of let down by Hollywood. I mean, is this what we're gonna get? We're gonna get action movies where nobody bleeds, with bad structure, with an uninteresting ending, with it just, there's nothing really to like about this Total Recall. I just think, just see the original movie, because this is a failure on all fronts. I think Sony Pictures and everyone involved should really be ashamed of themselves. These are kind of the worst instincts of Hollywood put on display this makes me really fear Hollywood as an audience member. It doesn't give me any loyalty to Hollywood. It makes me kind of wish I was just going to the art theater, because this is crap. But to be honest, I wish this was a bad dream rather than the reality that this movie was. So if you have seen Total Recall and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.